My wife refuses to love my son. I thought my wife and I had managed to build a real family together. We'd been married for 8 years, and when we first got together, she brought her 4 children from a previous relationship, and I had my own little boy, who was just 2 at the time. From the start, I loved her kids like my own. I supported them emotionally, financially, and in every way I knew how. I attended every event, helped with homework, and put in the time to get to know each of them. But as much as I wanted us to feel like a blended family, there was one thing that kept breaking my heart. My wife barely acknowledged my son. At first I thought maybe she just needed more time to bond with him. Her own kids had each other, and they had her, while my son was still adjusting to his new life. When his mother passed away 2 years ago, I thought that would be the moment my wife might step in to provide that extra support. My son had only ever known her as his maternal figure, and with his mom gone, I thought he might finally have the motherly care he needed from her. But if anything, it only made things worse. She never talked to him, rarely even asked how he was doing, and when she did interact with him, it was just in passing, like she barely saw him. Over the years, I began to notice these small, painful moments, her lack of effort, her indifference, but I hoped my son didn't see it. Or maybe he noticed but didn't say anything. Either way, he kept it to himself, quietly blending into the background. And though he always had me, I wanted him to feel part of our family as a whole, not just a guest in his own home. The breaking point came last week during my wife's youngest daughter's 11th birthday. I'd put in a lot of work to make it a special day for her, organizing everything so my wife could focus on celebrating. As the party wound down, we gathered to take a big family photo. I looked around, seeing the kids huddled together with us, and for a moment, it felt like we were finally that blended family I'd dreamed of. But then my wife looked directly at my son, who had taken his place beside her kids, and told him, "This one is just for my family." The words hit him hard. I saw it instantly in his face. He stood there frozen before stepping back, his face a mix of confusion and hurt. I could almost see his little heart breaking. And in that moment mine shattered too. I had tried to keep calm, to be understanding all these years, but watching him be excluded so blatantly was too much. Without thinking, I confronted her right there in front of everyone. I told her exactly what I thought of her behavior, that she was being cruel, that she was selfish for treating my son like he was less than. I couldn't believe I was saying these things to the woman I'd married, the woman I'd thought was capable of loving him as her own. The party became tense. People looked away, some awkwardly left the room, and the joy in the air was gone. My wife just stood there, her face a mixture of shock and defiance, and I realized I might have gone too far, but I didn't regret standing up for him. I tried talking to her later, explaining that all I wanted was for her to show my son the same love I showed her kids. I told her he needed her, that he deserved to feel like he belonged in our family. But she insisted it wasn't the same, that she couldn't force herself to feel something she didn't. Her words were a slap in the face. Here I was, asking her to be a mother to my son, and she was telling me it wasn't possible. Now I'm questioning everything. Was I asking too much? I don't want to overreact, but I'm not sure how much more of this I can take. My son deserves love, security, and acceptance. I thought we were building a family where every child mattered equally. But if my wife can't see him as her own, I'm not sure how we move forward.